Alright, it's a beautiful day for working on a car here in Central Oregon. So I've got my 2004 Mazda RX-8. It's got 105,000 miles on it. Starting to run a little rough, so I went ahead and made the upgrade and bought the Black Halo Racing ignition coil set. So it comes with 4 really nice coils on a sweet little bracket here, and some brand new MSD wires and some sweet plugs. I'll be installing them today and filming along the way, and hopefully there'll be some information for you guys. So I need to move my car to the center of the garage, a little bit more room. I was going to do this work cold, but I figured this will be a good chance to show you guys starts cold and hot on the old and new plugs and all that stuff. So it's still the old plugs, old coils, old wires. It's cold. I have not started it yet today.
Testing. System ready.
Yes, thank you. So this is a cold start with the original plugs. It's 62, so it's not really that cold. Check engine light is on because of the P0410 code. Whatever that system is that heats up the cat, I'll be getting rid of that because I don't need it. Alright, I gotta move the car. I don't know how well you can hear that, but it's still a little bit of popping and stuff that I'm actually hoping these new coils will get rid of. So I'm hoping the camera picks some of that sound up. It wasn't just too loud, but it's got like a little misfire, and occasionally I do get the cylinder 2 misfire engine code if I try and do too much when it's cold. So that's why I made the purchase. I really gotta let this thing warm up a few minutes longer before I shut it off, and maybe I'll do a couple warm start videos, clips, whatever, compare some differences. I figure while it's warming up, I'll tell you guys a little background here. You can see on my garage floor, we got some moisture leakage. Now it shouldn't be leaking anymore. I just had it fixed. I just took it into Mazda. It was still covered under my extended service warranty. But I've got a brand new water pump. You can see it right there. And they put a new water pump in for me, a new idler pulley, because mine fell off driving down the road. So now my compressor works, and it was all covered under warranty, so that was good. Just took the cover off. It's over here somewhere. So I don't know how well you can hear that engine, but it doesn't sound the smoothest. There's a little rough idle to it, a little popping. It's almost all the way warm. Be able to hear that. So I'm really hoping this Black Halo Racing kit will make a lot of that go away. Let's see how warm she is. She's getting warmer, but we're idling normal now. gas. Oh, I just got a text or something. You can see she's warming up. I'm gonna call that good for shutting her off here. Let's just see how she starts right now.
Testing.
Isn't too bad.
System ready. Testing.
Oh,
System
hush.
ready.
You don't need to hear that thing over and over again. Okay, so we've been idling in my garage for a little while, and she's pretty much up to full temperature now. But I realize I need fuel, because I'm going to want to start this thing and rev it and test it. So we'll get her all the way warm. I'm going to close the hood and drive down to the gas station, get some gas, and be right back. Okay, I'm on the way to the gas station now, but I wanted to clear that check engine code and just want to let you guys know I use a little program called Dash Command. It's in the Android market, and I've bought off of Amazon.com. I don't know if you can see it down here. Oh yeah, a little OBD scan tool, it's Bluetooth, just plugs in. You know, it looks like it could get in the way down there, but honestly, the way I drive and stuff, like, I would have to be lifting my leg up so high to even feel that thing, so it does not get in the way, and it makes it easy to read the codes, check them, and clear them if you need to. Alright, off to the store. Okay, I'm at the gas station now. I literally just filled up, but I was going to film all the starts until I switched everything. I just went to the one closest to my house, like an expressway or whatever. Got the 92 octane, but it's not normally the best gas. I usually get Shell, Chevron, or Texaco. So, there was that start. It's at full temperature. Still idling. Rough. Alright, heading home. Okay, it's still way too hot to do anything with. I just got home, but kind of pointing out, so here's where I need to get to. I don't think I can get the camera up in there. The coils are down here. They're underneath all of this. You can see the wires coming out right here. And then they run down to the plugs, which are easier to see almost if the tire's been removed. So one of the things I might do here is jack up the car, take off this tire, give myself easier access to the plugs on the side of the block. But I have to get to those coils. I got a flashlight somewhere. Where'd it go? Well, screw the flashlight. I got a real light here too. Turn this thing on. There we go. Alright. You can see the nuts from the coils down there. So it won't be too difficult. Just gotta let it cool down before I'm gonna burn myself. Alright, just took the wheel off to see what kind of view I could get down here, and you can actually see, well, in person, you can see the plugs really easily right here. There's 4 of them. There's 2 right there and 2 right there. I can bring my light down here to see that better. But I was also curious, I wanted to look at my setup here, what it would take to change these. Got one nut down there, and then the top right here, because right over here I got me a set of H&R sport coilovers for this bad boy and some Mazda speed shocks. So oops, that looks pretty easy on my pillow for a knee pad. That looks like a pretty easy changeover, so I think I'll be doing that myself here. Get a spring compressor and get me some new shocks and new springs and this bad boy. Yep. Let's see. Oh, hey, careful. So there you go. So yeah, you can see that's the rear rotor, and then the front rotor. If I can get the light in the right spot. There you go. You can see those. The camera's in the right spot. Anyway, they're right there. Right through that little hole. Make it easy to change. Okay, so I've pulled out this center section right here, disconnected those 3 vacuum lines. There was another little hose line right here that was connected to these clips, not actually connected. And this just comes right on out, set it aside. And here you can easily see the top of the coil packs and the wires. I notice on mine, this one's got electrical tape holding that together. That's wonderful, so I'm glad that's still going to be the case. I'll have to look at that and see what's going on here. But I'm going to take my throttle body off too. It's not really in the way. I mean, you can see it kind of is. But I'm going to do it anyway. It's just these 4 bolts, I believe, that are holding it on. And then this one clip right here for the electrical connection. Because I want to take it out and I want to clean it before I stick it back on, since I got it tore down like this. And that'll give me a little bit more room to work with for changing out everything. Okay, so I pulled out those 4 bolts. They're kind of long bolts to go through there. And there's 2 hoses that are still connected. This one here, and then underneath, I don't know if you can see it, there's one more right down there. So those 2 clips have to come off, and then this will come out. So for those of you watching at home, this would have been better as a live action show. Because, again, this is my first time doing this. I didn't know what those lines were. Thinking, maybe vacuum, maybe fuel, something like that. No, they're coolant lines running through the throttle body to keep it cool, which is great and all. Except that I haven't let this thing cool down all the way. As you can see, everything's a little bit wet. I popped that top hose off and coolant started spraying out of both sides. So it's all still a little pressurized. Gotta wait some more, let it cool down, and then clean it all up. And then we can go forward. So I also want to point out that no, I did not watch any other videos or read any information on how to do this before I started. I just figured it's an ignition coil, wire, and spark plug change. How hard can it be? And if I'm taking stuff off, I might as well clean it in the process. So if I had read up on it at all on how to remove a throttle body from an RX-8, I would have known that those were coolant lines. No big deal, it's all being cleaned up now. Okay, so there was no more pressure and it's cooled down a little bit, so I got it off. And you can see it's fairly clean on this side, but the back side, is filthy. Now, it doesn't really hinder performance much. You're still getting a ton of airflow, you know, and it's still going to inject fuel. Your mass airflow sensor is here, this thing. So as long as it's reading the amount of air that's flowing, I think the engine knows how to compensate and give it the right amount of fuel. But you can see that if it's cleaned out, it'll be just a little bit smoother. And I don't know, I just like to keep things clean. You know, a couple of good buddies of mine, TJ Hooker and Nick Johnson, they were very good on clean. I was always kind of the dirty guy who gives a crap, but now I see why. Okay, so here are my 4 coils. These are how they were in the engine. I just flipped them, and you can see these first couple are fairly spotted, and these other 2 aren't too bad. But clean that bracket off and mount up the new bracket. It says to take the bracket off of that and mount it up and following the instructions. One thing I just noticed after I cleaned it up, if I can get the camera down here. L1, T1, L2, T2. The Mazda factory bracket is labeled as well. Nice. Alright, so I'm pulling out the very last plug right now. And like I said, once I took off the tire and got in here, it was actually pretty easy. You can... Well, it helps if you don't hit the wrong button while you're trying to film here. Hang on. Alright, so I just pulled this plug out, and look at this plug. I mean, this is just nasty looking. I've got all these laid out in order here. So that was the top one on the front. Here's the bottom one on the front. I mean, then here's the rear. Here's the top one on the rear. I mean, look at that. Like, bottom one on the rear. I'm surprised this thing was running at all. Here, let me grab new plugs real fast. Show you. Well, obviously you know those are dirty, but so here we go. Boom. That is what a brand new, shiny, clean plug looks like. And compared to those, that's ridiculous. This car's definitely should run better. Okay, so now I've got all 4 brand new plugs in. I just got them hand tight. I'm going to tighten them down and head back up top. Alrighty, so I now have the BHR coil set in. All the nuts tightened. The wiring harness is all hooked up. Got the ground running up here. The ground is not yet connected. It doesn't tell me to do that quite yet. Getting there. Almost ready. Train. Alright, I'm taking a quick breather here. I'm having one heck of a time getting the T2 plug wire on this coil. That's this one here, this back one. They say in their directions here that it's pretty tight down here and you got to bend this wiring loop excuse me, down about 1/2 inch, and they weren't joking. It is tight. Just had some root beer. Anyway, but I got the plugs in. The only coil wire I don't have on down there is this last one. I'm just leaving it loose till I can get it on here. But then once I put that on, I believe it's time to start rerouting some of these cables and lines and getting that chunk of intake manifold back on here and throwing my tire back on, and yeah, getting there. Okay, got the throttle body installed and the 2 coolant lines hooked back up. Now it's time for the rest of the intake here and all these vacuum hoses. Okay, so I got this in here. I got my 3 vacuum lines hooked up. I've got this little line clipped back in and plugged back in up under here. Our 2 clamps front and rear are tight. If I believe correctly, all I gotta do now is put my cross brace back on. That should be good to go. Make sure I don't got any parts laying around. So I just gotta say, this magnet on a stick thing is probably one of the best tools I've bought in recent days. I figured I was done. I'm slapping things together. I'm throwing things quick. I'm putting my cross member up on here. I've got my nuts in my hand. I drop one right down in that hole. And I'm like, oh shit. But luckily, I was able to get it out. Well, I think I'm there. Got a dirty garage, a bunch of gloves, some random tools laying on the ground. But I'm done. BHR, coil, wires, plugs have all been installed, as well as my throttle body cleaned. I have yet to start it. This will be the first time. Hopefully all went well. Alright, well, she's cold. Took her a little bit to start. That first one wasn't good, but could be that there was, I don't know, who knows. Let her warm up here. So I'm letting her warm up, and I just want to say already that I think it's a more steady note. It doesn't seem to be popping as much already. It's only been running for a minute. It's still nowhere near warm. But it sounds good. Wait till she warms up. Okay, I haven't even touched the throttle at all yet. I've just been letting it warm up off of idle. It's getting close, but it does sound smoother to me. I don't hear the popping, so I'll give it a little bit of gas here. Well, she's sounding good. I'm gonna have to take her for a drive. Okay, garage is cleaned. I gotta move it in, but this is the first warm start with the new coils. Let's see here. Not impressed. Not impressed at all. Second start. Why is it always starting on the second start? To be continued. Well, I pulled into the garage, and just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna do a few more starts and see what happens. Come on. All these are no throttle. I'm not touching the throttle at all, by the way. So that one finally started. My guess is, and it's only a guess because I have no idea what I'm talking about, but maybe cleaning out that throttle body, change some of the, you know, the amount of flow it gets at idle and things like that, and the computer's having to relearn. I stopped ignition a little early and it still started, I wonder. Nope. Well, this engine does have 105,000 miles. There may be other stuff going on too. We'll see. I'll give it a day. I'm a courier. I'll put 200 miles on this thing tomorrow. So we'll know pretty quick how it runs. So I just want to get an update. It's the next day. I'm at work right now, or my first stop, but to me, that sounds quite a bit smoother. And it started just fine this morning. Okay, so I just got home from a long day of work, driving the car around, put a couple hundred miles on it. Most of the issues I've had have all been ECU and throttle body related. I didn't know, oh yeah, shush. Didn't know you weren't supposed to, you know, do stuff while it was still connected, but I just want to show you guys some hot starts after a day of driving. So that's after everything. I haven't made any adjustments. Check engine light is on for code P0507, which is too high of an idle. But as you can see, that's starting to come back down now. It was idling just a little bit higher than that. It'll get there once the computer figures it all out. Again, it's kind of longer starts, but again, this is all throttle body and ECU related. I do not believe this has anything to do with the BHR coils. They are working fine. The engine's running smoother. It's got plenty of power mid-range. Top of the RPM range has got plenty of power too. 7, 8, 9,000 RPMs is running real strong. But again, if we listen to the note, it's just nice and steady. There's no more of that popping and crackling and stuff it was doing before. Okay, so it's Thursday. I did the install on Sunday, so I've been driving the car for a few days. And every day it seemed like the idle would drop just a little bit more and a little bit more as the ECU learned, you know, the adjustments to the throttle body that were made. And just want to do some hot starts here and see how it does. Right back down to where it should be. So she's starting as good as she ever has. Idle's right where she's supposed to be. And runs pretty good. Loving my BHR coil set.